Have you ever wondered where humans came from? Who were our ancestors? And how did we evolve into modern humans? Today, we'll go on an amazing journey to find out in a way that's super easy to understand. Let's start with our closest relatives today, the great apes. These include chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, and bonobos. Together with humans, they belong to a family called hominids. And guess what? We share so many things with them. For example, none of us have tails, and we can all, in some way, walk on two legs. Well, humans do it best, but other great apes can do it too, sometimes. Our blood types are similar too. A, B, AB, O, Rh positive or negative. Great apes might not speak like humans, but they can learn sign language and understand thousands of signs. They even enjoy watching TV, and when tickled, they laugh. This shows how close we really are. Humans share 99% of DNA with chimpanzees, 98% with gorillas, and 97% with orangutans. If we go a bit further back, we reach a group called hominoids, which also includes gibbons, a type of smaller ape. They share 96% of their DNA with us. Hominoids all see colors like humans and don't have tails. Even further back, there's a bigger group called anthropoids, which includes monkeys too. There are 130 species of Old World monkeys and 120 species of New World monkeys alive today. The name anthropoid actually means human-like because we share some similarities. The group above that is called primates, which includes tarsiers and lemurs too. Tarsiers are tiny monkeys from Southeast Asia. They can jump super far, up to 16 feet, and they make high-pitched sounds you can't hear without special equipment. Lemurs live in Madagascar, and they're the oldest living primates in the world. All these animals, monkeys, apes, humans, are like branches on an evolutionary tree. The tips of the branches are animals alive today, like chimpanzees or humans. If you go backward along the branches, you'll find where two species shared a common ancestor. For example, humans and chimpanzees have a branch that joins at hominids. If you include gibbons, you get hominoids, then anthropoids, then primates. The further back you go, the fewer similarities remain, but all primates share some traits. Prehensile hands, we can hold things with our hands. Some can even grasp things with their feet. Most have 5 fingers on hands and feet. They are smart. Humans' brains are 3 times bigger than chimpanzees. A bigger brain meant humans could invent amazing tools and technology, like ChatGPT. But evolution didn't stop with us. Let's travel back millions of years to see how our ancestors evolved. About 65 million years ago, the earliest primates appeared. Fossils of a tiny creature called Purgatorius were found in Montana. It looked like a small mouse, but could climb trees. All primates, even today, love climbing. That's why they're called arboreal, meaning tree dwellers. Their hands and feet evolved to grab branches, and their shoulders became flexible so they could swing from tree to tree. Around 25 million years ago, a group called hominoids appeared. One big change was losing the tail. Scientists discovered a gene called TBXD that mutated, causing this change. Why? Because walking on 2 legs, called bipedalism, became more useful than using tails to hang on trees. The first true bipedal ancestor was Ardipithecus ramidus, living about 4.4 million years ago in East Africa. They sometimes walked on 2 legs but still used their arms for support. Later, Australopithecus afarensis appeared, about 3.7 to 3 million years ago. They always walked on 2 legs. One famous fossil from this species is Lucy, discovered in Ethiopia in 1974. Lucy's skeleton taught us a lot about how early humans walked and lived. Lucy and her relatives used stone tools, but probably didn't make them. They found sharp stones and used them to cut food. They ate fruits, plants, and some meat. This is where Homo Habilis, meaning handyman, enters. They lived 2.5 to 1.5 million years ago. They were about 3 to 4 feet tall and ate scavenged meat using stone tools to cut and scrape bones. Eating meat helped their brains grow bigger, which is why humans eventually became so intelligent. All right, friends, now that we've seen Homo habilis, let's move forward in time to Homo erectus, which lived about 1.9 million to 140,000 years ago. The name Homo erectus means upright man, and they were the first humans to really walk like us, with long legs and short arms, perfect for walking long distances. Homo erectus were adventurers. They were the first to leave Africa and travel to Asia and other parts of the world. They could hunt big animals like elephants and hippos and gather fruits. They even used spears with stones tied to the ends, which is pretty smart for their time. One of the coolest things about Homo erectus is that they learned to control fire. At first, they probably used fire that started naturally, like from lightning. Later, they learned to make fire themselves. Fire gave them warmth, protection, and a way to cook meat, which helped their brains grow even bigger, up to 900 cubic centimeters. They also started living in groups and interacting socially. They didn't have a full language like us, but they used gestures and sounds to communicate, like a proto-language. This teamwork helped them survive in tough environments. Now let's meet another group, the Neanderthals, also called Homo neanderthalensis. They appeared around 400,000 years ago and lived mostly in Europe and parts of Asia. Neanderthals were stocky, strong, and well adapted to cold weather. Their noses were bigger, teeth were larger, and their shoulders and hips were wide, all because of evolution and living in chilly climates. Neanderthals were smart too. They painted in caves, used feather jewelry, and even buried their dead. They lived in small communities, showing compassion and care. But around 40,000 years ago, they went extinct. Why? One reason is climate change. Europe became much colder. Another reason is their limited diet, mostly meat, which made survival harder. Interestingly, for about 5,000 years, Homo sapiens, modern humans, and Neanderthals lived in the same regions. Scientists studied their DNA and found that some interbreeding happened. Today, many humans carry about 2% Neanderthal DNA. So, in a way, a part of Neanderthals still lives in us. Speaking of Homo sapiens, they appeared around 300,000 years ago, with the modern form emerging 160,000 years ago. Homo sapiens means wise man, and this is our species. They had large brains, about 1,350 cubic centimeters, which allowed them to think creatively, make art, and solve problems. Homo sapiens were hunters, gatherers, and inventors. They used tools, created art, and built social networks to survive famines and challenges. Unlike Neanderthals, they ate a varied diet, meat, plants, and fish. They were also better at collaborating in groups, which helped them spread across the entire planet. Here's an interesting fact. Evolution is not a straight line. It's more like a tree with many branches. While Homo habilis evolved into Homo erectus and eventually into Homo sapiens, there were other human species along the way, cousins like Homo denisovans and Homo floresiensis, who eventually went extinct. Evolution can go in many directions, not just one path. Even today, humans are still evolving. Some examples include skin color changes. People who lived in northern areas developed lighter skin because there was less sunlight. Those in sunny regions kept darker skin for protection. Lactose tolerance. People in regions with dairy farming, like Scandinavia or parts of India, can digest milk better than others. Adaptations to cold. Populations in Siberia or the Arctic developed extra fat around their eyes, called epicanthic folds, to protect against snow glare and cold winds. Small changes like average height increases in some populations also show evolution in action. Evolution is slow, happening over thousands of years, but it never stops. Every human alive today belongs to Homo sapiens, but we are still adapting to our environment. So, from Homo habilis to Homo sapiens, the story of human evolution shows how we became intelligent, creative, and adaptable. It's amazing to think that all of this started from tiny primates climbing trees millions of years ago. Now that we've seen how humans evolved, let's take a step back and look at the bigger story of life on Earth. Human evolution didn't happen in isolation. It's part of a long journey that started billions of years ago. Everything begins with the first living cells. Scientists call the very first common ancestor Luca, which stands for the last universal common ancestor. Luca lived more than 3.5 billion years ago, and from it, all life on Earth eventually evolved: plants, animals, fungi, and humans. From Luca came prokaryotes, tiny single-celled organisms, and then eukaryotes, cells with a nucleus. Eukaryotes eventually formed multicellular organisms, meaning creatures made of many cells. Over time, some evolved into worms, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Humans are just one branch on this huge tree of life. Think of evolution like a giant tree. At the tips are the animals alive today: humans, apes, monkeys, birds, fish. As you go back along the branches, species meet at common ancestors. Some branches end because species went extinct, like dinosaurs or Neanderthals. Other branches continue, like the one leading to us. Even today, we can see connections to other animals. For example, milk teeth. Humans, lions, and tigers all have baby teeth replaced by adult teeth. Hearts. Whales and humans have four-chambered hearts. Milk. Baby horses drink milk like human babies. We can trace life even further back to creatures with four limbs, called tetrapods, like frogs, crocodiles, and birds. And before that, to vertebrates, animals with a spine. Zebrafish, a small vertebrate, shares 73% of its DNA with humans. Scientists study zebrafish to understand human diseases like cancer and heart problems. Even earlier, life included eukaryotes, all animals, plants, and fungi. Yeast is a simple eukaryote, and in the 1990s, scientists sequenced its genome. Surprisingly, many yeast genes are similar to human genes. This shows that even something as small as yeast shares a connection with us. And here's the coolest part. All life on Earth, including humans, animals, and plants, is made of stardust. The Earth formed about 4.5 billion years ago from a cloud of gas and dust. Stars exploded, creating heavy elements, which eventually formed the Earth. So, when you look at yourself in the mirror, remember, you are literally made of the same stuff as stars. So, the story of life is: stardust first cells, Luca, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, multicellular life, mammals, primates, hominins, Homo sapiens. Each step took millions of years, but every step was important for us to exist today. Even now, humans continue to evolve. Our skin color, ability to digest milk, body shape, and even height are small examples of evolution in action. Evolution isn't finished. It's a slow and ongoing journey. The next time you see a tree, a fish, a bird, or even a fellow human, remember, we all share a connection in this amazing tree of life. From tiny primates climbing trees to humans inventing tools and exploring space, evolution shows us how life adapts, survives, and grows. And that's the story, friends. From tiny cells to modern humans, from primates swinging in trees to Homo sapiens walking the earth, evolution is the ultimate story of life.